Surprises me that there's still a good amount of people still wondering how you get used to the Steam controller. So I figured I'd look back in games I played when I first got it. This isn't really a tutorial as much as a story I just kind of wanted to share, just personally, what games I played to get used to the thing. I actually remember looking up countless videos before I did buy it. As I do with everything I think I'm going to invest a lot of time or money in. No impulse buying for me, well, except for Steam sales. But the amount of videos I watched gave me a really good idea on how to get a handle on it, as to not overwhelm myself with the new foreign layout. And one of the genre types I kept heard echoing throughout the first time tutorials was third-person action games. My love not only for car combat and post-apocalyptic stuff in general had me playing Mad Max for the first Steam controller game. Basically, you just set your config to gamepad and no precise aiming or crazy gyro controls to get used to. You literally just use the controller as a standard Xbox controller, and then you just swipe your thumb across the trackpad like back and forth just to move the camera. Very easy and intuitive to get you used to not only the feel of the controller. The game has a ton of driving as well as button mashing, combo, beat 'em up style areas, both of which gets you a really good feeling for how other genres will play out. The progression and exploration keep you playing for more, and the story is one of the best I've seen. And I've actually gone back to play this one 3 or 4 times over just for that. Amidst that, I picked up and played all the Batman Arkham games, and somewhere in there, Shadow of Mordor too. I think Shadow of Mordor is probably my second one after Mad Max. I can't remember. But you see, I didn't just load up my favorite FPS game, even though that's what I played most of the time. I knew from the negative reviews that it would be a very bad idea. I'm a very stubborn person when it comes to new technology. I am tantalized by the newest, coolest gadgets and things. No, I didn't have a Google Glass, although to this day I wish I did. I've owned some of the weirdest phones ever made during the smartphone explosion years. And I actually drove my wife nuts buying a new phone every few weeks at one point.
I don't care.
True story. No, when it came to shooters and the Steam controller, I knew I'd have to have a decent grip on the layout first. And I knew I'd have to be somewhat used to at least flicking the trackpad or do general aiming. So I stayed true to the third-person action games and loaded up Zombie Army Trilogy. I used my movement and basic camera flicking skills that I picked up in Mad Max and Arkham games, and I applied it here. The game actually starts out slow enough. 1 zombie, then 3, and holy fuck, what the hell did I get myself into? Headshots are a must in this game, forcing you to get precise with the pad. Fortunately, aim assist is pretty forgiving, something I highly recommend someone to utilize when they want to get into aiming with trackpads. Aim assist will help not only with your frustrations, but you'll actually feel like you're getting somewhere with it. When I revisited these games for this video, I actually turned the gyro off. I wanted to show that it can be done. The gyro definitely makes things easier, but for starting out, I don't recommend turning it on until you get a hang of shooting with aim assist and just the trackpad in general. One thing at a time, this is how I did it. Anyways, the game's levels ramps up pretty regularly. The co-op gameplay is like Left 4 Dead meets Call of Duty Zombies, but in third person. Third-person shooters are actually really good with the Steam controller. I've yet to play one that didn't feel like it was made for it. I think most of it is that your aim doesn't have to be pinpoint accurate unless you want it to be. But the imagery in this game is pretty creepy too. Who doesn't want to kill hordes of Nazis and then at the end the boss fight is a giant demon Hitler? I wish I actually included this in my Halloween video. I think a lot of people share the same sentiment with the next game. Doom 2016 feels like it was made to use with the Steam controller. A lot of people recommend it if you just want to kind of jump in and play something for shooters. Even without the gyro, the game feels really good to aim and shoot with just the trackpad, and I think that's akin to not having an aim down sights button to worry about. Most games change your sensitivity settings depending on what you're doing, like aiming down sights, and it really does conflict with trying to build new muscle memory with the trackpads. After Doom, I played a ton of Killing Floor 2. This game I distinctly remember finally turning off aim assist because I wanted to get better. I forced myself to get used to it, and after that wall of wondering, I found out, hey, I actually aim better without it, and it's way more fun to actually aim yourself.
Damn, look out! Just gotta make sure. Easy!
I consider this game to be my very first true first-person shooter with the Steam controller because it shares a lot of the same control schemes that a lot of FPS games like Call of Duty and Battlefield does. Aiming down sights and whatnot. The focus here is not competitive. It's co-op horde mode style. So not only does it give you a lot of target practice, but you also have to keep moving away from enemies, stop to shoot, pick your targets. Not too much pressure, but just enough to get you used to switching multiple targets with the trackpad. Pretty similar to Zombie Army, just FPS style instead. Plus the soundtrack kicks ass.
Fantastic work. Area remains unbreached.
One bullet, one head. I see them.
Wait a tick, reloading.
I don't really remember too much specific after that. I'd gotten used to it enough to where I was comfortable playing anything. I definitely didn't play any competitive multiplayer games for a really long time. In fact, I stayed away from them thinking competing with mouse users was a skill I would never reach. I learned this at the time by trying in vain to play Advanced Warfare, a game I absolutely loved to death on the Xbox. I still didn't turn the gyro on back then, though. And really, that's mostly because I had a rebellious complex when it came to it. I didn't want to have to learn it. I thought it was stupid to have to use two different types of aiming in tandem, and I refused to try it.
Killing time.
It wasn't until about 3 or 4 months ago that I actually turned it on, and I was so wrong that I wish I could go back and tell myself,
You are a total freaking retard.
because now I can actually compete with mouse users and it's glorious. My next video is going to be gyro focused, so I guess look forward to that. If I had to choose a new game to tell people that want to get into the Steam controller, I guess it would have to be Horizon Zero Dawn. It checks off a lot of things people recommend when just starting out. I'll explore that a bit more in the next one though.